If your doctor just told you that losing muscle after 60 is normal aging, you need to hear what I'm about to say, because that normal thing is quietly stealing years from your life. Not high blood pressure, not cholesterol, low muscle mass. A study published in JAMA Network Open in 2022 tracked 5,888 adults over age 60 for nearly a decade. They discovered something shocking. Those with the lowest muscle mass had a 250% higher risk of dying from any cause. Not from a fall, not from a broken hip, from anything. 250%. Read that again. That means the simple act of losing muscle as you age isn't just about looking frail. It's a silent predictor of your longevity. Today I'm going to explain why the standard advice, eat more protein, go for walks, is not just outdated, it's dangerous for many seniors. I'm going to tell you the exact daily amount of one overlooked nutrient that reversed almost a decade of muscle loss in people your age, and I'm going to walk you through one simple 3-minute morning habit you can do at home tonight to start rebuilding what you've lost. But before I do, stay until the end, because the final thing I'm going to share is the one mistake almost every senior makes that turns this entire strategy into a waste of money. I'm Dr. Andrew, and I've spent over 20 years treating patients over 60 in a family medicine practice. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call John. 67 years old retired teacher came to me last year with a complaint I hear almost daily. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm fading away. I can't open jars anymore. My legs feel like lead when I climb the stairs. And my brain, I walk into a room and forget why. Is this just what happens?" I told John about 5 specific changes he could expect if he followed a simple morning protocol. He was skeptical. He almost didn't try it. But he agreed to give it 60 days. What happened next stunned both of us. That's what I want to share with you now. 5 things that happen to your body when you add this one powder to your morning coffee after 60. Number 5. The first change, your brain fog begins to lift. Most seniors accept a certain amount of mental cloudiness as inevitable. They call it a senior moment. But here's the truth. Your brain is an energy hog. It uses 20% of your body's energy every single day. As you age, your brain cells become less efficient at producing that energy. You feel slower. Words hide on the tip of your tongue. In 2023, researchers at the University of North Carolina published a study in the journal Nutrients. They gave 64 older adults a daily dose of this same powder for 12 weeks. The result? Significant improvements in memory, processing speed, and executive function. The participants didn't just feel sharper on a test, they felt more like themselves again. But here's where it gets stranger. The researchers also found that the people who started with the lowest cognitive scores saw the biggest gains. If you've been telling yourself your brain is past the point of no return, this study says otherwise. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 71, former librarian. She came to me frustrated because she kept blanking on her grandchildren's names. It scared her. She thought it was the beginning of something worse. Margaret was not a person who believed in supplements. She rolled her eyes when I mentioned this powder, but she tried it, 1 small scoop in her coffee every morning. 6 weeks later, she sat in my office and said, "I finished the Sunday crossword before noon. I haven't done that in 5 years." Now stay with me because this isn't just about feeling sharper. That same energy boost in your brain also affects something deeper, something that could determine whether you live independently into your 80 seconds. Number 4. The second thing that happens, your muscles stop wasting away. After 60, the average adult loses 3 to 5% of their muscle mass every single year. It's a condition called sarcopenia. Your doctor might have mentioned it in passing, but what they probably didn't tell you is that sarcopenia isn't just about weakness. It predicts falls, fractures, loss of independence, and that 250% higher mortality risk I mentioned earlier. In 2024, a meta-analysis published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle looked at 16 randomized controlled trials with over 1,100 older adults. The participants who took this powder gained an average of 1.4 kilograms of lean muscle mass in just 12 weeks. Their leg strength improved by 18% compared to placebo. Now here's what goes against everything you've been told. You don't need to live in the gym. This powder amplifies the muscle-building signal from the simplest daily activities. Walking to the mailbox, standing up from a chair, carrying groceries. It turns those everyday movements into a trigger for repair, Gary, 68, was a patient who came to me barely able to stand up from my waiting room chair without using his hands. He looked at me and said, "I used to be the guy who fixed everything around the house. Now I feel useless." He thought muscle loss was permanent. He thought supplements were for young bodybuilders. But his wife had heard about this approach and pushed him to try it. 3 months later, Gary walked into my office carrying a 5-gallon water jug, just to prove he could. He told me he'd rebuilt the back deck he'd been staring at for 2 years. If you only remember one thing from this video, remember this next part. Because while you're rebuilding muscle, something else is happening silently, inside your skeleton. Number 3. The third change. Your bones get denser. Most seniors are told to take calcium and vitamin D and hope for the best. But bone isn't just a chunk of calcium. It's living tissue that responds to force. When your muscles pull on your bones, they send a signal to lay down more bone. The stronger the pull, the stronger the signal. A 2021 study in Osteoporosis International followed 200 postmenopausal women for 2 years. Half added this powder to their daily regimen, alongside calcium and vitamin D. The other half did not. After 2 years, the powder group increased bone mineral density at the hip by 2.1%. The control group lost bone. That difference, gaining bone instead of losing it, can be the difference between a fracture and a stumble you walk away from. And this is the part most doctors won't say out loud. The reason so many seniors continue to lose bone even when they take calcium is that they're missing the signal. This powder amplifies that signal. Every time you stand up, every time you lift a grandchild, every time you push a shopping cart, your bones hear it louder and respond. By now you're probably wondering what this powder actually is. You might be picturing some exotic superfood from a mountaintop in Peru. It's not. It's something your body already makes. But after 60, your natural production drops by over 30%. The powder I'm talking about is something you've probably heard of, but only in the context of gyms and bodybuilders. It's creatine monohydrate. Before you click away because you think it's just for young weightlifters, understand this. Creatine is the most researched supplement in human history. Over 1,000 studies have proven its safety and efficacy. It's not a steroid. It's not a stimulant. It's a naturally occurring compound your body produces in small amounts and you also get from red meat and fish. The problem is, to get the therapeutic dose I'm about to tell you, you'd need to eat over 2 pounds of beef a day. That's not practical and it's not heart healthy. And I know the fear that just entered your mind. Won't it damage my kidneys? That myth has been debunked by a mountain of evidence. A comprehensive review published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition analyzed data from over 1,000 participants, including older adults, and found no negative impact on kidney function in healthy individuals. If you have pre-existing kidney disease, you should talk to your doctor first. But for the vast majority of seniors, this powder is safer than the ibuprofen gathering dust in your medicine cabinet. So here is the exact protocol. The optimal daily dose is 5 grams, 1 flat teaspoon. That's it. No loading phase, no cycling. You simply stir it into your morning coffee. It dissolves almost completely in warm liquid. It has no taste. It won't alter the flavor of your coffee one bit. And it costs about 15 cents a day. A simple 3-minute morning habit. 1 scoop, stir, drink. That's the step-by-step you can start at home tonight, because you can pick up a container at any grocery store, pharmacy, or online, and have it ready for tomorrow morning. Now that you know what it is, let me tell you about the next transformation, the one that happens at the cellular level, deep inside your mitochondria. Number 2. The fourth thing that happens, your energy levels surge. After 60, you know the feeling. You wake up tired. You push through the morning. Then by 2 p.m., you're dragging yourself to the recliner just to make it to dinner. You chalk it up to age. You accept it. But here's what's actually happening. Inside every cell in your body, there are tiny power plants called mitochondria. They produce a molecule called ATP, your body's energy currency. Every time you move, every time you think, every time your heart beats, you're spending ATP. To recharge it, your cells need a phosphate donor, and that donor is creatine. Without enough creatine, your energy recycling slows down. You run out of gas faster. You feel drained by tasks that used to be effortless. A 2022 clinical trial published in Experimental Gerontology gave 80 adults over age 65 either a placebo or this exact creatine protocol for 12 weeks. At the end, the creatine group reported 42% less daily fatigue. Not just subjective. Objective tests showed a 19% improvement in physical performance on tasks like repeated chair stands and walking speed. But here's where it gets personal. I had a patient named Eleanor, 73 years old. She was an avid gardener her whole life, but she'd given it up because she said she just didn't have the stamina anymore. "I'm okay until lunch," she told me. "Then I hit a wall." She was afraid she was becoming one of those people who never leaves the house. I asked her to try this coffee habit for 60 days. By week 4, she called the office and said, "I don't know what's in that powder, but I weeded my entire flower bed and still had energy to make dinner. I felt like I was 50 again." That's not magic. That's mitochondrial ATP regeneration working exactly as it should. And now we come to the most profound change, the one that changed everything for John, the one most seniors never expect. Number 1, the fifth thing that happens. Your body's cellular repair mechanisms switch on in ways you thought were gone forever. Aging isn't just wear and tear, it's a gradual failure of your body's ability to fix itself. Your DNA gets damaged, proteins get misfolded, inflammation ticks up year after year. This is what researchers call inflammaging. It's the slow burn behind heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. Here's what the latest science is revealing. Creatine isn't just fuel for muscles, it's a cellular protectant. A 2023 study published in Aging Cell tracked markers of oxidative stress and DNA damage in older adults over a 6-month period. The group taking daily creatine showed significantly lower levels of 8-hydroxy-2-deoxyguanosine, a direct marker of DNA damage, compared to the placebo group. Their cells were literally aging more slowly at the molecular level. Now stay with me, because this is the part that most doctors never mention. When you combine this repair effect with the muscle rebuilding, the bone strengthening, and the brain fog lifting, you are not just adding years to your life. You are adding life to your years. You're telling your body, loudly, that it still matters, that it still has a purpose, that decay is not mandatory. John, the retired teacher from the beginning of this video, called me after his 60 days. He said something I'll never forget. "Dr. Andrew, I walked my daughter down the aisle last weekend. I stood up from a kneeling position at church without grabbing the pew, and I remembered every word of my speech. I'd stopped believing those things were possible." He almost didn't make it past day 10. He told me he almost quit because he didn't feel anything happening. And that brings me to the final thing, the one mistake almost every senior makes that turns this entire approach into a waste of money. They stop too soon. The real transformation with creatine doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in 2 weeks. Cellular saturation takes time. The brain fog starts to lift first, often within 2 to 3 weeks. Muscle changes become noticeable around week 4 to 6, but the deep repair processes, the bone density shifts, the inflammation reduction, the mitochondrial resurgence, those compound after day 60 and beyond. If you quit at day 30 because you didn't wake up feeling like a 30-year-old, you will miss everything. That's the mistake almost every senior makes. They expect an instant miracle. They don't give their body the respect of time. Then they toss the container in the back of the cabinet and say, "See, it didn't work." And they go back to accepting decline as normal. So let me close the 3 loops I opened at the start. First, why is the standard advice, eat more protein, go for walks, dangerous for many seniors? Because it ignores a critical nutrient your body stops making enough of after 60. Without it, the protein you eat doesn't get used efficiently, and the walks don't trigger the repair signal they should. You're leaving the most important piece off the table. Second, the exact daily amount that reversed almost a decade of muscle loss? 5 grams. 1 flat teaspoon. Not 2 scoops, not a loading phase. Just 5 grams in your coffee every single day. Third, the simple 3-minute morning habit. Step into your kitchen. Brew your coffee. Stir in 1 teaspoon of creatine monohydrate until it dissolves. Drink. That's it. No special equipment, no prescription. A habit so simple you'll never have a reason to skip it. And the one mistake that turns it into a waste? Stopping before day 60. Don't sabotage your own comeback. Give your body the time it needs to respond. 60 days from now, you could be looking back on a very different version of yourself. Stronger, sharper, more yourself. Or you could be in the exact same place wondering if anything really works. The choice is yours, starting tomorrow morning. Which of these 5 changes surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.